Welcome to the Bullish Drive podcast, where we explore the realms of faith, mental performance, and personal testimonies through conversations with high-level performers. Join us as we extract valuable insights from their experiences to supercharge your pursuit of peak performance. This is the Bullish Drive podcast. What's up, fam, and welcome to this week's episode of the Bullish Drive podcast. And today we delve into the world of sports, spotlighting the rise of women's rugby and the incredible journey of athletes on their path to the Olympics. Today we have the privilege of sitting down with Kathryn Johnson, a true powerhouse in the world of rugby and a USA Eagles rugby player who represented the country on the Olympic stage. Women's rugby has seen a meteoric rise in recent years, gaining attention for its competitive spirit, skill, and the remarkable athleticism displayed by its players. Among the pivotal changes in the sport was the introduction of the Rugby Sevens format, a faster, more dynamic variant that captivated both players and fans worldwide. The United States rugby history is rich and diverse. The inclusion of Rugby Sevens in the Olympics added a new chapter to this legacy. The sport's debut in the 2016 Rio Olympics brought a wave of excitement, marking a significant moment in the history of USA Rugby and amplifying the sport's global reach. Rugby Sevens, a faster-paced adaptation of the traditional 15-a-side game, provided a new platform for athletes to showcase their skills and athleticism on the Olympic stage. It's within this arena that Kathryn Johnson etched her name in the history of American rugby, competing at the highest level and embodying the pinnacle of dedication, skill, and perseverance. And in today's conversation, we will explore the profound impact of community both on and off the rugby pitch, touching on the essential role of team psychologists in maintaining a healthy mindset during high-stakes competitions like the Olympics. Kathryn Johnson will share her personal journey, shedding light on the pivotal role her father played as a rugby coach and the foundation he instilled to foster grit and resilience. One of the often understated yet profoundly influential aspects of an athlete's success, particularly at the highest levels, is the strength of the community surrounding them. The world of sports, especially in the context of high-performance competitions like the Olympics, isn't solely about individual achievements. The collective support, camaraderie, and sense of belonging within a community play an instrumental role in an athlete's mental resilience and overall well-being. In Kathryn Johnson's journey as an Olympic-level rugby player, community support was an integral part of her success. The environment fostered within the team and beyond, both on and off the pitch, became a sanctuary where athletes found not just teammates, but friends, mentors, and a second family. The strong support system significantly contributed to their mental fortitude and ability to cope with the pressures of elite competition. Beyond the physical training and strategic tactics, the role of team psychologists was a crucial factor in maintaining a healthy mindset. These professionals provided the athletes with tools and guidance to navigate the psychological challenges inherent in high-stakes sporting events. From managing stress to coping with setbacks and maintaining focus, the input of these experts played a pivotal role in bolstering the mental resilience of athletes like Kathryn. Furthermore, Kathryn highlights the significant influence of her father, who served not only as a rugby coach, but also as a source of unwavering support and guidance. His teachings instilled in her the values of grit and resilience, forming the bedrock of her mental strength. The support and wisdom received from her father were essential components that fortified her against the grueling trials of elite sports. The power of community, whether it was the team, mentors, psychologists, or family, became a cornerstone in maintaining a healthy mindset. It offered athletes a space to share experiences, seek advice, and find comfort in knowing they were not alone in the journey. Their sense of togetherness and support had a profound impact on their mental well-being, empowering athletes to face the challenges with confidence and determination. In essence, the community surrounding high-performing athletes with its unwavering support, guidance, and shared experiences significantly contributes to nurturing a positive mental state, thereby aiding athletes in their pursuit of excellence on the grandest stages of sport. The Bible offers profound wisdom on the significance of having the right community and the impact it can have on an individual's life. Throughout its teachings, the importance of surrounding oneself with supportive, encouraging, and like-minded individuals is underscored. Scripture frequently emphasizes the value of companionship, highlighting that the company one keeps can shape their character and actions, and even their mental and emotional well-being. Proverbs 27:17 illustrates this concept, stating, "Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another." This metaphor exemplifies a positive influence that strong, mutually supportive relationships can have on individuals, fostering growth and strength through shared experiences and mutual encouragement. Furthermore, the book of Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 10 accentuates the significance of companionship, emphasizing that two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. This verse illustrates the power of a supportive community, where individuals can rely on each other during times of need, providing comfort, strength, and guidance. The Bible also highlights the need for a community that fosters positive values and encourages righteousness. 1 Corinthians 15:33 advises, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." This verse serves as a reminder of the profound impact that negative influences can have on one's life, urging the importance of surrounding oneself with those who uphold values that align with personal growth and spiritual well-being. The biblical perspective underscores the significance of being part of a supportive, nurturing community that uplifts, encourages, and strengthens individuals. Having a community that shares common values provides guidance and offers unwavering support aligns with principles advocated in the Bible, emphasizing the importance of building relationships that positively influence one's journey and well-being. In the context of Kathryn Johnson's experience as a high-performing athlete, the biblical teachings about the importance of a supportive community resonate strongly. Her journey was not only shaped by her talent and determination, but also by the empowering support and guidance she received from her community, echoing the biblical principles that highlight the significance of surrounding oneself with the right company. Moreover, we'll delve into challenges of training and the immense sacrifices entailed in pursuing a spot on the women's Olympic team. KJ will recount her experiences, emphasizing the significance of valuing one's skills amidst the trials and tribulations on the path to Olympic glory. So join us as we have this incredible conversation with Kathryn KJ Johnson, a testament to the perseverance, dedication, and unwavering spirit of athletes in the world of women's rugby and the Olympic stage. Today, I'm super stoked to have KJ on here. We ran into each other in rugby in Minnesota a few years back. Back when I played rugby, definitely not at the level that KJ did, but I'm so happy that you've taken some time to join us today. So KJ, welcome to the show. You just want to introduce yourself and then we'll get into it.
Well, thanks for having me. This is super cool. This is one of the things I really hold on a high level when it comes to coaching and teaching my athletes what it takes to make it up high. Your mental health is everything. But yeah, my name is Kathryn Johnson. I go by KJ. I live here in Minneapolis, and I play currently for PR Sevens and the Twin City Amazons, which is in the WPL, Women's Premier League. And I am a Minneapolis firefighter as well, EMT. And so just that struggle of working around work, and full-time athlete, which is, you know how it is. It's really tough, but it does take that balance.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for taking that time. This was a busy week for everything, you know. So let's kind of start just at the beginning with your rise into the Olympics and getting into there. What was kind of your journey there?
I think I had a little bit more like bumper car journey to the Olympics, and it was not like smooth by any means.
Sure.
I think college really had a play for, especially now, we have a lot of varsity programs in place, but that also creates a lot of inequalities with selections as well. So I was pretty lucky. I dropped out of school from Milwaukee, and I got a few jobs so I could pay for my tryouts at the Trade Center, which is in San Diego.
Yeah.
So not a cheap place to go, and
Right.
I was making it barely by traveling around by bus because I didn't have a car, and working these 3 jobs and finally getting enough money to go for tryouts, and it was rough. You realize, like, once you get there and you see the speed and the skill level firsthand, you realize where you're at. Like, you watch them all day on a feed and be like, oh, I can do that. I really can't. Okay, I have a lot more work to do. So it is a reality check for sure. But I made the my first debut was World Cup in 2013 and with Sevens, and it was unreal. Like, I really didn't deserve to be there. There were girls that were better than me at that point, but the experience was something that the coach thought would be worth putting me in there and throwing me into the fire, which I really appreciate, because I didn't know how much longer I could work those 3 jobs for this passion of mine. So yeah, it was like right on that brink of like, do I keep going or do I just, and my mom's like, what are the odds of you actually making it? And it's like, you're 100% right. I have no idea what the odds are. They're pretty bad. But so got contracted after the 2013 World Cup, and then was in and out of World Series throughout the 3 years into the Olympic year. I was actually cut the Olympic year and sent home for 4 months, and because we had 3 coaches change during the same year of the Olympics. It's just wild. I mean, USA Rugby for you, like we never have anything solid to rely on. But she was not a big fan of me at the time, which is totally fair. And I got sent home that month, and got home, and my dad, who's a really high level boxer and had a lot of really awesome coaching tips as a kid, like he made us control our breathing and all of this stuff. Like, it was really cool having him as a coach. But he was like, don't give up, and they will call you back, and if they call you back and you're not fit, that will be your problem. And it's like, you're right, like if they call me back, that slight chance that they call me back, I want to be ready, and I want to shove it in their face, and I want to. So yeah, he really got me going. And so I was depressed, but also working my ass off. And they called me back 4 months before the Olympics. So it was just a crazy year. And then making the Olympics, like, you have a family at the training center that is there full time. And these women grind out all day, every day to make the exact same tournament you are trying to make. So it's very cutthroat, and it's very sad when someone that is not as good as you in someone else's opinion doesn't make it, but they've been there for the 4 years you've been there. And so now all of a sudden you're an Olympian and they're not. It's like, that doesn't really make any sense when we're all just good. Excuse me. Like, when it comes down to it, anyone that would have gotten selected that was at that camp or living out there, I think they would have done an amazing job. So it's really tough to leave that scenario after 4 years and be like, these are the Olympians and these are the pool players. And it's but it is a whirlwind, man. So I don't even know if that answers the question.
No, that totally answers the question. No, I love it. And you touch on so many things, and I've had the pleasure of meeting your dad in the coaching scene, and just running into it, and everything you said is exactly who your dad is, that motivation. What was that like, having your dad not only as a well-known rugby coach, but also just as your dad, and building you up with that mindset?
I mean, good and bad, he was my coach since I was 6, and he always did bring the fun. So I never felt burnt out. I had my brother involved, so I never felt like I was like singled out by any means. And my brother would probably take a lot more heat than I did. So yeah, I lucked out a little bit with that. But he's insane. He's so smart when it comes down to like controlling the mind and doing what you need to do to feel accomplished, whether you succeed or not. Like, that's a massive one. He's like, here are your controllables. Like, what are you going to do with it? Because then you can look back and it's not as daunting to be like, should have done X, Y, and Z. And I think that's a big skill that we've had ever since we were kids, which is just amazing. Instead of feeling pressure to succeed, it's more like feeling pressure to do what you can to succeed. But yeah, he had a really interesting life going through sport and military, and was locked up for a little bit and had that time to really process and break down. And so he was an older dad, and
Yeah.
I think that really benefited us, you know.
Sure.
And then his dad was actually, my grandpa was he qualified for the Olympics in speed skating.
Oh,
And
wow. I didn't know
so
that.
that was and it was during a year that the US actually didn't go to the
Oh,
Olympics, which is,
shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to be able to call my grandpa at the Olympics every night and just unload and the experience with him. And he's also given me plenty of tips himself. So I think my dad learned a lot from him and then passed that down.
You mentioned you kind of had two families. You had your family back here in Minnesota. You had your family there in San Diego during the camp. How important is it for a rising athlete to find kind of your tribe, you know, to push you through these moments?
It's the most important thing. I haven't found anyone that has succeeded without one. Like whether it's chosen or given, I mean, if you don't take the time to go out and find something, you're not gonna make it very far because you're gonna burn out very, very fast. Like for example, we have so many like introverts on our team that would not want to hang out with the team, which I'm one of the ones that was like, okay, as soon as I'm done with practice, like I need to escape and I don't want to hang out with you guys 24/7. Love you, but and so but the introverts are so important because it's like you have to have another passion, whether it's roller skating with a group in San Diego like Chris Thomas does, which she's just amazing, and then she also does like clothing and she reads a ton of books and in book group, like that kind of stuff. It's like she has connections where she feels tied and it's outside of her rugby world. I just think it's so important, no matter what your style is or your personality is, to have something else. And so some other hobbies, and which really help create that balance. But also, like, I don't know if it's balance when it comes down to just allowing yourself to perform. Like, if you're not happy, you're not going to play your best rugby, and you're not gonna give 100% at your job, and you're not gonna give, you know what I mean? Like, it's very relatable and everything. But if you're not giving yourself what you need to be you, you're not gonna be able to perform.
Yeah, that's perfect. That goes into kind of the other area that you mentioned, your dad just talking about being present. In our agency, when we're working with athletes, you know, we talk a lot about just playing present, and you talked about controllables. We can't control the outcome, right? We only can do what we can do. How did you maintain your mindset to be present even in those hard moments of like the game or just life in general? What were some of your practices and things you put in place?
Something we put in place as kids is just, I always get nervous. I always have butterflies, or how I want to say it. It could be excitement. It could be nervousness. You know, there's so many ways of putting your perspective into the way you want to see it so that you can use it to your advantage. And that was a big skill that my dad totally, like, he grasped that one right away, because I would always, like, he's just like, I have to go to the bathroom. And it's like, there's 2 minutes whistle blows. Like, just calm down, you know? And so I think being able to recognize those butterflies are positive. You can turn those into energy and into explosiveness and power. And so it's like, if you think about mothers and what they're capable of doing when they get that like jolt, you know, like they'll do anything for their child. But that butterfly and that nervousness or excitement is really the fuel of it. And our body is capable of way more than we think. So using that emotion positively in every situation. So as a kid, I would practice getting nervous or excited for practices just as much as I do for a game. And so now I get just as nervous and excited for touch with like my homies in Minneapolis. And it's like, I don't know how I don't control it anymore when it comes down to beating the nerves, but I will get just as nervous for that as I do for the Olympics, you know. And it's very helpful because it's soothing, and it's something that I know, and it's like that comfort zone of, okay, we're gonna play rugby again, and it's the exact same field, it's the exact same ball, we're playing the exact same game, it's just in a bigger crowd, you know.
Yeah.
Focusing on the things that are the same and being able to make those feelings within the exact same as well is really helpful. I think that's my number one. And then it comes down to that having fun. Like, if you can't watch your mistakes as quick as you make them, you're not doing anyone any favors. Like, the game's fast, and mistakes are bound to happen. Even if you watch the best of the best in the world, there are mistakes all the time, but you might not see them as much because they're so fast at correcting them, because they flush it and they're in the moment and they're present and have the ability to really turn it around. But yeah, it's really cool. You don't need to hang up on, they dropped the ball. It's like, okay, now go hit that person that picked it up, you know, like, right. Go poach it back, you know. And if you can flush it just as fast, you're going to be successful.
Man, that's so good. I think what's comforting is you said, like, you get the exact same excitement and nervousness and butterflies playing touch as you do as an Olympian, you know? So with athletes that are rising up and they're like, oh man, I shouldn't be feeling this. Like, if I want to be the best, I can't be feeling this. But like, it's the same. It goes all the way up to the very top. Like, those emotions are always going to be there.
Yeah.
So, and you talked a little bit about kind of a mental side of like a side hustle with training your mental skills. Did you have to do anything outside of your rugby training separately and individually to build your mental skills up?
Oh yeah, we have a sports psychologist within the Olympic Training Center, Peter, sorry. He's so great, and he's very like cool, collected, and for a high stress environment, he was like my rock, even though he didn't want it all the time. But yeah, you need to find some kind of help. You're never without bouncing stuff off of people, and people that actually are ready to have it bounced off of them. So yeah, if you find kind of professional or someone that's been through the experience, like myself. So like right now we're building this platform for alumni and future Eagles where they can have more of a base to like connect, help us or help them out with the journey they're on. But Peter was mine, and he helped me with everything. I think I would see him 3 times a week for at least 3 years, and it was so helpful. And he helped me with everything from my performance and my ability to stay centered, and also my relationships on the team and how to best set us up for success when it comes down to like, hey, I might not get along with you as 100%. That doesn't mean by any means that I'm not going to put my body on the line for you. Like, don't question my alliance and my love for this sport and you as a teammate when I just disagree with some of the things we might see on the outside and the outside world, with a whole different thing when we have this unified end goal. So it's really cool to be able to see different perspectives and have that kind of insight while you're going through it. I will, and I was doing all of that, I was really hot-headed and had a whole different mindset. Like, I still just wanted W's and I was only the wins, and so certain things would make me more upset because I would doubt their passion and I have to make it happen as well. But then after the Olympics, it really comes down to, like, it finally hit me and I was like, what the hell, you know, like, that was cool, but also I didn't take advantage of how cool the people around me are and connections, making the connections with travel and like actually seeing things. And when our team had opportunity to go see sites and stuff like that, I would stay in the hotel and do my recovery and do my pre-workouts and try to get right before the next training session, studying everything I could on film analysis on other teams, and there is such thing as like doing too much, you know, like you gotta step away, you gotta enjoy the moments, because they're just, I mean, life is short and it's just a game. Like it bugs me to say that sometimes, but
Sure.
just a game, and if you're not enjoying every moment of it, those W's won't matter. So like I look back at my career, I don't remember the W's, you know?
Yeah.
Like I remember that tournament we won this and we lost this.
Yeah.
I remember, oh man, we got to go to Brazil. We had some really cool times at the after party with the Brazilian team. They're dancing. You don't realize what's going to be important to you until you look back. So
yeah, that's so good. And speaking about just like hanging out with the other teams, I think rugby is unique in the way where, you know, when you say turn the page and like the past is a past now and we move on, in rugby we do socials after games, right?
Yeah.
Like we break bread with the other team, and I think that's so unique. Like you could be standing across from someone, you could just be like, I gotta light this dude up, like he is my competition, my enemy right now. But then the moment that final whistle blows, like we're grabbing a beer, we're eating dinner together, you know? How much does that play into just being able to move on? Because I feel like that's something unique in rugby where that culture is just different.
Yeah, I think it's a huge part of it, and I think it gets lost every once in a while in American sports and American rugby because we just don't have like the internship of like, this is what it's like, this is how we transition. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I think it's massive when it just comes down to respect. You know, like if you hang out with the Kiwis from New Zealand after a game and you're like, these girls are just like us, they grind every day, they live together, they struggle through a lot of the same struggles with equal pay and bad managing, jerseys that don't fit, like all of these we think are like soloed out, and we're like, oh well, if we would have had like proper time to prepare, or coaching that didn't switch right off the bat, or you know, all these things you could blame it on. It really levels things out by meeting the other team and respecting and like seeing that they are struggling the exact same, but they're just, you know, they grew up with the sport, or pick their brain over some food and be like, when you were doing this in the scrum, like you really got me, like what happened, like how did you adjust your hips on this so that I felt like I had no power, or whatever it is. And it's really fun because in the game, you're right, we go hard and it's like, I'm here to win this space. And then the game's over, it's like, okay, but that was dope because you really I have no idea what happened, like I was up on the film and I'm gonna get you next time, you know. It's a really fun relationship, and I think that's a huge thing that we miss in the United States.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I love rugby. I love the culture of it. You mentioned about difficult coaches, and I think some of our younger athletes will do a lot of blaming on the coaches, right? They'll say like, oh, the coach put me out of position, or they put me in the spot that I told them I didn't want to play. What would you say to someone who's dealing with that situation? One, so they don't get burnt out, and two, they don't end up resenting the sport and just saying like, this is dumb, I'm gonna go play golf.
Hey, well, go play golf because it's fun, but like I think it's good to be well-rounded and think of them as opportunities. So in that moment, even though you're out of your comfort zone and you're not in a position to thrive, like you're also put in a position to challenge you. Like if you're not being challenged, okay, you're not doing something right. So yourself out of your bubble and just put that, like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm gonna focus on X, Y, and Z. So like for me, if I'm a 8 and they put me at center, I'm gonna focus on staying wide and having good crash lines, getting my hands up early, and maybe looking for a drag line with my outside center. You know, like things I'm gonna focus on to really execute, and that's all I'm gonna rate myself on. No matter what it says after the game, I'm gonna look at film and be like, but did I execute my 3 things? Because you can control a certain amount of your performance in a different position and measure yourself on that. Don't measure yourself on an opinion of another person. We always put coaches on this pedestal.
Oh yeah,
and a person with opinions, and they're good opinions or bad opinions, but they weigh so much more. And I don't understand how we get them into that position or how we get them out of it. Like, if we would realize they made just as many mistakes as we do, like, I think we could break that barrier and we could really see ourselves as this person that could dictate a better result instead of on the coach for making a bad decision or whatever it may be. Like, just focusing on those controllables in that situation is really helpful.
I love that. I love how you just verbalize, you just go and you do it, you just execute on where the coach tells you. You don't think so much about like, oh, he did me dirty, like he moved me here or there. It's like, oh, this is where I am now. Like, I'm gonna do this at the best level that I can do. Right?
Totally.
You made the decision, and I love that.
Not intentional. Like, I think we take a lot of stuff personally, where it's coaches thinking about so many moving pieces. Like, if they do something to an individual, it's rarely personal. Right. It's just, let me see, if I move this piece here, let me see if the whole puzzle falls together. Or do this, will it trickle effect into someone else doing better here? Like, it's a cause and effect. It's not normally just a dig at you. So one thing we overlook is just, it's not about us all the time. And our own main characters, just like the coach is their own main character. So we are focused on ourselves, they're focused on other things. So it's it's really hard to separate when you're in the moment. Yeah. But being your own main character, you set yourself up for success and pull yourself aside and write down what frustrates you. And then write down how you're going to get rid of those frustrations. It's very manageable once you start breaking it down instead of having a flood of emotion. Man, that's a session in and of itself when I'm working with athletes, is the importance of that self-awareness, identifying it. So to hear you say that is, super confirming. So I hope everybody I work with is listening to this and they're like, oh, this Olympian agrees with my mental performance coach. He must know what he's talking about. It's like, yeah. So thank you for saying that. That was unscripted. It's just what really good athletes do. Is there any last advice with managing mental health, managing your mental skills you want to share with people? You don't have to fit the norms. I think a big part of not accepting help or mental skills is trying to be someone else. Like, it's so when athletes start to figure out their own superpowers when it comes to their mental health. And that's not going to come from watching another athlete succeed or getting advice from a coach. It's going to come from mental health training and unlocking these certain pieces of your brain that you didn't know weren't firing, and get those things to fire, then you get your own personality and your own drive. It's different than anyone else in the world, and you can put that into your own magical performance. So I would say, look outside the norms. Don't try to be anybody else, and it will really unlock for you. Man, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. If anybody out there wants to learn more about just mental performance skills, you can check out our agency at bullishthrive.com. And we'll definitely be continuing to follow KJ's career, killing it on the rugby pitch, here in Minneapolis and everywhere else you go. So thank you so much, KJ. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thank you for joining us this week on the Bullish Drive podcast. And if you want to learn more about mental performance coaching or hear more episodes that we've done on the podcast, check us out at www.bullishthrive.com. We will see you next week, and always remember, it starts with you and your destiny is waiting. Peace.